Beer production has a long history that can be traced back to the ancient Mesopotamians and up to the current trend for home brewing. So the global beer market may still be dominated by larger breweries, but in the past decade, there's been a rise in the number of artisanal breweries producing craft beers. While South Africa has the highest beer consumption in Africa, consuming 3.1 billion liters annually, according to a study. So Josphat Ncube, he's the owner of the Beer Pantry and a brewmaster, joins us in studio to chat about his experiences as a brewmaster today. Josphat, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you? It's so bright and early.
I'm okay. Thank you.
So you're brewmaster.
Yes.
Quite a title. What exactly does your job or does your speciality entail?
Thank you very much for having me on your show. A brewmaster, craft brewmaster actually, it's someone who makes the beer, who mixes the ingredients from the scratch. For example, you will look at mixing the malts, the hops, up to adding the yeast on your fermenters.
Yeah.
Up to everything is done. That is the brewmaster, someone who has to master the recipe for the beer for our citizens to enjoy. Is because of the...
So what's the difference perhaps between craft beer and normal beer? I'm not a beer drinker, so I'm trying to understand what makes craft beer so special or unique.
Thank you very much for the question. Actually, your question actually, it says, what is the difference between the craft beer and commercial beer?
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what you're trying to say. The craft beer is something that is microbrewed. It is something that can be brewed at home as well. I know most of the people that didn't know about that. You can brew your own beer at home. So everything that is brewed at home and microbrewed, it's called craft beer. You will see that craft beer is different because it's a mixture of your talent, your artistic that is in you, and biology, which is science. So that is craft beer, and that is the difference between the craft and the commercial. Yes.
So how did you get into brewing? What is your unique flavor or speciality that you add to your unique business?
Thank you very much for the question. How I entered this industry, I will say since long time ago.
Okay.
Since I was very young, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So this has always been in my mind wherever I've been working, wherever I've been doing, whatever I've been doing. So I worked for a distribution company.
Okay.
Then I wanted to have my own distribution company. But the question was, where will I get the products? What will I distribute?
Exactly.
That's when, as a marketing manager, then I thought, you know what? 7 years ago, when this brewing industry, the craft brewing came into South Africa, became a thing, like it started becoming viral. Then I thought, oh, exactly this is what I'm going to do. Then I can produce my own products and distribute them. So now I had a plan of how I can get my own products and manufacture them. And
is it an expensive process to brew your own beer? I mean, what is an essential startup kit? Because you said people can literally do it at home. Obviously, it includes your talent and some science behind it. But what does the equipment look like?
Starting from the home brewing, it's not that expensive if you're doing it home as a home brewer. You can buy a starter kit starting from 1,500 Rand to 2,000 Rand, depending on the type of the starter kit. So there's manual starter kits, there's automated brewing kits, which they range up to 10 to 15,000, depending on how the hobby has got into you. So it's not that much. It's not expensive, but because you love this hobby, you love the beer, for the love of the beer, it's not that expensive. But if we're talking microbrewing, it's a bit expensive. I'll say it's expensive to begin with, but As time goes on, it's not that expensive because the equipment is stainless steel.
And then how long does it ferment or have to stand? I mean, I know people are very particular. What does that process look like from start to finish?
Yes, at the brew house, it takes you about, for a 500-liter brew bash,
Yeah.
it takes you about 4 hours to 6 hours to brew. After that, you'll see that you have to pump your beer into a fermenter. Then you'll have to ferment for 7 days, depending on the type of the beer. So the ale ferments for 7 days, the lager ferments for 14 days. So if you are a microbrewer already, after 7 days, you can start having your beer, which is an ale, or 14 days, your lager. But it's very good when it's matured. So then you still need to mature your beer after fermentation and kegging or bright beer tank. And
how long does that take?
For an ale, it takes 7 to 14 days. For a lager, it takes 14 to 21 days for the maturity process.
Wow.
Then after then, your beer is good and you can sell or you can have it.
Okay, so for someone like myself who does not consume beer, how would you convert me using craft beer? I mean, what is the unique ingredients that you would, I don't know, pose and say, this is it, this is why you should be drinking it?
Yes, you will see that most of our beers are naturally produced, so they come from natural ingredients, which is the malt, hops, and the yeast. So that is the first part. I will tell you that actually our beers are from natural ingredients. But how do I convince you to get into this? So I will start with what you love. You love light beers. Do you love maybe sweet beers?
I like
beers?
So I've heard crazy examples of beers, right? I've heard of honey. I know they used honey. There was rooibos beer.
Yes.
So I'm just trying to think how crazy can one go in adding those different unique types of flavors?
Yes, as a craft brewmaster, it's the sky is the limit.
Oh, wow.
So you can add as much as long I will say it's not poisonous, obviously, naturally. So that you can add as much ingredients as you want. So depending on you, the type of the beer that maybe it suits you. If you like sweet beers, then I would brew a small batch for you, just a sweet beer, and then introduce it to you. And then if you get into the taste of beer, into knowing this taste, if it gets into you, then I can start introducing the varieties of beer into you. Then I think that way you will start getting into it and you will start loving the craft beer.
So obviously we're not endorsing beer or alcohol. It's a simple discussion about brewing, craft beer, etc. So I'm looking at wines perhaps in South Africa. Exactly. We've got quite a unique offering. What would you say is South Africa's contribution in the rising craft beer industry that we've seen trending of the world over, actually?
Yes, before we started our conversation, you spoke about beer being brewed long time ago.
Yes.
Yes, and you will realize that in South Africa we've been doing that and for a very long time, and we've been brewing our beers out of sorghum.
Yeah, okay.
Which is umqombothi, obviously.
Exactly.
Yes. So craft beer has brought umqombothi into the new world, which is today. So craft beer is brewing beers like sorghum beer. So that's what we offer the world out there. That's a different beer, but as you will see that this is who we are. From umqombothi, long time ago, and now we modernize this thing, and then we make it sorghum beer, which is proudly South African, where it definitely comes from us and from our history as well.
How easy is it to sustain a business of craft beer in the industry? I mean, you've got well-established companies who are operating in the space, but there are also many, many microbrewers out there. So how would you describe a typical day-to-day operation from an operational perspective?
It's not an easy journey. I won't lie to you. It's a little bit difficult, but it's because of passion that you continue moving and you give it a go. So in terms of, you will see that the mass production of the big companies, it makes them to be very easy in terms of pricing. So for a craft brewmaster, it's a little bit difficult to get into because of passion you push in, and you make sure that you want to get into.
And stocking the, I mean, where is it stocked? Do you have, where can we access some of your offerings that you create?
Thank you very much for that. So far, I'm not yet producing, which is, I'm in the starting stage. I've been in the brewing industry for more than 5 years, working for another brewery. But I'm in the starting stage so far. I can't say you find my beers here and there, but my main aim is to make sure that South Africa as a whole will find my beers. So you can contact me at 073 927, it's 074 actually, 074 927 8023. Okay. Or you can email me at Josphat, JOSPHAT, SISI @gmail.com.
Okay, so I mean, if people want to perhaps purchase from you, they can, or you can simply teach them, I'm assuming. That could also be something.
So that's exactly my product that I'm offering right now. So if you have got a party, or you have got a birthday party, or you have got maybe an end-of-year party, so I offer a teaching. So I help people to learn how to make beer at home in small quantities. And then I teach them over a braai, for example. It's an exciting thing. Yeah. It's not something that you have to be serious doing. It's an exciting thing. So I help people to learn how to make beer. You can be a group like 5, 10, even as much as 20. So it's very easy to do it. But that's my offering. That's what I do so far. I teach people how to make beer at home and sell them the home brewing equipment and the ingredients.
Okay, Josphat, let's leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, I'm not an avid beer drinker, but I definitely know kombucha is something that I'm interested in. So maybe you can teach me how to brew kombucha.
Yes, thank you.
The South African craft beer scene is still in its infancy, but the increasing production of craft beer in quality and quantity has made it somewhat difficult for beer drinkers to decide on a drink of choice. But the craft beer scene in South Africa has been around for some time, and it is still gaining momentum. So we were just in conversation with local brewmaster Josphat Ncube, who joined us in studio to chat about his journey and reflect on the industry at large.